Alright, so earlier in the stream, I spoke about how the right is trying to control what people think. And I think I got a good example here. PragerU, the kids show. Now this is an older video. This is an older one. I just decided to get right into segments because the stream can only get better. But this is an older PragerU video. But this video has just been approved for showing in schools. I believe only in Florida. However, Florida is a large state with a large populace. Not a lot of kids there, but there's a lot of old people. And there's a lot of people, period, in Florida. So I feel this is important. And even if it was in Wyoming, I'd still feel it was important. But, let's see what, the right wants your kids to know about Christopher Columbus.
Oh.
You know, I had brain pop growing up. Kids nowadays have freethinker Leo.
Hey.
What's up with the face? You look stressed.
I'm just doing some research. Was today weird for you?
Yeah, how'd you guess?
Columbus Day.
Or Native American Day, or Indigenous Peoples Day? It's weird,
Based.
right?
Yeah, some of the teachers at my school really don't like Christopher Columbus and don't think he should have a holiday, but some do.
Based. We shouldn't celebrate genocidal maniacs who were terrible even for their time.
The same with my
Like, I get celebrating George Washington. I'm a bit of a Washington fan, you know? But celebrating people who were terrible even for their time is it's a bit yikes, I'd say.
teachers, and even some kids got into arguments about it today. You finding any good info?
Kinda, but it's real mixed. The side against Columbus says he was a really mean guy who spread slavery, disease, and violence to people who would have been better off if he'd never gone to the New World.
True.
Ouch.
I know, but the side for him says he was a really courageous guy who loved exploring, inspired generations, and spread Christianity and Western civilization to people who really benefited from new ways of thinking and doing things.
How did he spread Christianity, Leo? Please explain. Please give me a point-by-point explanation of how he did it. We live in a world where people are multifaceted, where both things of these can be true. Was Christopher Columbus a genocidal maniac? Hell yes. Did he inspire people to maybe, explore? Probably. I'm sure there are journal writings of explorers inspired by Columbus. Both of these things can be true. And I think the adventurous spirit of Columbus should be acknowledged as a good thing. However, enslaving people for sugar and tobacco, not very good. Bad, actually. This is a man who went into the Bahamas and the Indies. That is why they're called the Indies, because Christopher Columbus, dumbass, thought it was India. But he went in there, saw the people, and said, this looks real nice. So he enslaved them and forced them to burn down their own villages to make farmland. Holy shit, dude. Like,
Things.
That sounds really good.
I know.
What do you think? Which side is right?
I don't know. It seems really complicated, but both sides are just giving their opinions. It would be cool to hear from.
the difference is one of their opinions is, like, backed up by, factual reports and first-hand sources, and the other is just, but America.
The source. Huh?
You want us to go talk to Christopher Columbus, don't you?
Yeah!
Okay, sounds good. I hope he's not mean. Don't be alarmed, sir.
Don't worry about it. I'm wrapping up the wildest journey maybe that anyone's ever taken. Nothing phases me. What, you from the future?
How'd you guess?
Either that or Indians? I've kinda had a hard time telling who's what lately.
I'm Layla. He's my brother Leo, and we need to learn about you.
We live 500 years from now, and there's a holiday for you, but it's really controversial and we're confused.
Nice! I have a holiday? Well, caramba! I should! I've worked so hard to get to this point, and what I just accomplished was insane!
Will you tell us about your journey?
Allow me to give you a little biographical information so it all makes sense.
Okay.
I was raised in the port town of Genoa along the Mediterranean Sea. My papa was a wool weaver, and most
Fixed it.
boys just did whatever their dads did. But I was different. Every day I would look out at the sea and wonder what was out there beyond just what I could see.
He'd be like, oh wait, hold on. Does the chat box still work? Hold on. Okay, well, I don't know if chat works, but he'd be like a woman on my ship, witch, then kill her with a rock. True, based. Hold on. Let me look this up. Were there women on Columbus's ship? I want to see. Two of the four. Hey, there was 4 women, and 2 of them were Roma. So, take that.
I see what you did there.
Inclusive king.
So you were curious?
See? And so as a teenager and a young man, I did everything I could to cure my curious nature. I volunteered for all kinds of crazy sea adventures, and I took my first one at 14.
Whoa.
Yeah, and soon sailed to Iceland, Ireland, and Africa. I taught myself to read, learn
Whatever you do, do not ask Christopher Columbus what he did in Africa.
many languages, and read everything I could about geography, astronomy, and exploration, including my favorite
I don't really know. I'm just assuming it was bad because it was a white person in Africa. So I'm just assuming they did something bad.
book, The Travels of Marco Polo.
Marco.
Polo.
Okay?
Oh, it's a game we play in swimming pools.
Nah. Hold on, wasn't Christopher? Hold on. I will not stand for this. The Italian erasure. I will not stand for this. Christopher Columbus was not Hispanic. He was Italian. You damned misinformation peddlers. You can't even get a man's nationality right. But you trust me to show this to my kids. Nah, I'm good. He'd be like, oh, another harlot. Real.
Never mind.
Never mind? Marco Polo is the greatest explorer who ever lived. In fact, the trade routes he wrote of and their closing is basically why I'm here right now.
What do you mean?
Well, first, the writings of his amazing journey to the Far East inspired me to be an explorer. But then, 40 years ago, when the Muslims conquered Constantinople and closed...
Not like a specific, empire or a caliphate, just the Muslims. Yeah, just the Muslims. I think that at this time it would have been the Byzantines? Yeah, the Byzantines, I think so. Who blocked the Silk Road? The Ottomans. I was almost right. Yeah, the Ottomans blocked off, not the Muslims, not every single one of them, but the Ottomans blocked off the trade routes, the Silk Road, among others. This isn't just a Muslim thing. It's not like Muslims are jumping onto roads to block them.
Down the Silk Road, they made it impossible to get by land from Europe to Asia.
When he says Muslims, he means Ottomans.
And that opened up the desire and opportunity to figure out a path by the sea.
What was so
Hold on. Fucking... Okay. First of all, why would you go around Africa? That's just stupid. It's so wasteful. Personally, just me. You can go through here, you know? You can go whoa, down through here, and boom, you're there. It's not that hard.
And opportunity to figure out a
It's really not that hard. Just go through this straight. Unless it didn't exist yet, which in that case, too bad, so sad. But going around Africa, it's fucking stupid. Unless you are doing a little trading in here, you know? Going to Madagascar, getting some shit from Somalia, you know? I don't know if Somalia existed. Getting some shit from Mali. Getting some shit from just Arabia. just Arabia.
path by the sea.
what was so important about getting from Europe to Asia?
Leo,
You dumb bitch, it's trading.
we want to trade. They have so much cool stuff in places like India, China, and the Spice Islands.
Let me guess. Spices.
Let me guess. Opiates?
Smarty pants. If you tried our Middle Ages European food, you would know how much we need those spices.
So you wanted to
Dog, if I tried modern European food, y'all still need it. Fucking... Okay. Italy? Italy's good, though. But, dog, you ever been to the UK? God. They put, like, beans on toast over there.
get spices from Asia and make a lot of money?
No, I wanted to explore the world and see things that nobody where I'm from had ever seen before.
Yes, he wanted money. That is why he sponsored his trip, because he didn't want to pay for it himself, because he wanted to gain profit from his trip. Like, you could... coming from a conservative source, I don't see why being greedy would be a bad thing.
But I didn't have enough money for a crazy sea adventure, so I had to get a sponsor. I needed to convince a really rich
Audiobook.
person to pay for my trips.
Ah, so you had to be persuasive and tell somebody that paying for your trip would make them even more money. You get to
Yes, and that is why this ship is... That's Russian. That is...
explore, and they get spices and stuff from Asia to sell and make a profit.
Correcto! So since the Muslims had cut off all the land trade routes to Asia and
The Ottomans! The Ottomans! Like that little thing that you put your feet on that is in a chair. The Ottomans! The Ottomans! It wasn't the Muslims! The Ottomans were Muslim, but it wasn't every single one of the fucking Muslims! It was the Ottomans! You dumb bitch! There were a bunch of Muslims in Africa who had nothing to do with this. You're just fucking stupid.
we Europeans still wanted Asian things,
But of course, this is just meant to, you know, be like race war, race war, race war, race war, race war.
came up with a crazy plan to get there by sailing west.
Why was that crazy?
Because no one knew if it could be done.
Is that because people thought the world was flat?
No, that's a myth. Since the time of
Okay, based PragerU here. Wow, they were actually correct. They were correct about something. What is this map?
the ancient Greeks,
What is going on here? Whoa. This is like 3 pixels? And what kind of artificial anti-aliasing smoothing is going on here? It looks like they put a Gaussian blur over just this part. They're like, fuck. The borders are really smut. What is this? Dude. Oh my god.
Greeks educated people have known the world is round and could possibly be sailed around. But Earth was believed to be so big that with so much ocean between Europe and Asia, no way could the ship hold enough food and water for its crew to survive a west.
We knew the size of the Earth, you dumbass. Like, ancient Egyptians knew it. Like, they didn't think the Earth was so big that you just, like, wouldn't last. The ancient Egyptians in, like, 4 million BC were like, let me use these 2 huge pillars and the sun to calculate the circumference of the Earth. And then they did it. We already knew how big the world was. We could have, like, had an estimate, you know? Like, probably dumbasses thought the world was super huge, but anybody worth their salt would have, like, been able to say, okay, the circumference of the world is 40 million I don't know.
Westward journey between the continents.
You thought differently?
I did my own calculations and thought maybe could be done. I might have played with the numbers a bit, but I was desperate to give it a try.
Sounds like your sponsor needed to be desperate too.
I first asked the King of Portugal, but his advisors told him my plan would never work, so he said no. Then I tried Spain, and they said no too. But after 6 years of bugging their king and queen, Ferdinand and Isabella, I finally got them to agree to pay for my voyage west out to the great unknown.
It took 6 years?
Why did they finally give in?
Only they can know for sure. But it's probably no coincidence that after hundreds of years of fighting to kick the Muslim invaders out of their country,
The Ottomans! The Ottomans! The Ottomans!
in what was known as the Reconquista, the Spanish monarchs sent me on a mission to find new trade routes and maybe even find gold and riches.
So Spain was broke and needed money. They were desperate.
You said it, not me. But Ferdinand and Isabella took a wild chance on my crazy idea. And here we are! I'm now sailing back to Spain to show off all kinds of amazing things I found and tell of the wonders of the lands I've seen.
There's these people that are brown and they have tobacco, and here's an acre of their skin, and here's a house that I pillaged.
Okay, now that we have the backstory, we've got some questions. There are a lot of people in our time upset about how you acted once you found all these amazing things in these new lands.
Ah, that's right. You said I'm controversial.
You have no idea.
I've got nothing to hide. Ask away.
Okay, first, your sailing plan was right and all your doubters were wrong?
Well, they were wrong that my crew and I were going to die because after 10 weeks of sailing west, we spotted land.
Your trip was 10 weeks?
You can't even handle a 2-hour car ride.
Ah, greatness requires patience.
You know the land you found wasn't India, right?
Really? Caramba! I suspected something was a little off, but my calculations suggested I had reached India, or at least the Far East.
So what happened when you met the native people, who obviously discovered the land before you did? The Indians?
The first people we met were great. The Taino. They were peaceful, curious, and really helpful. I could tell right away that they were highly intelligent. They even
Then I gave them blankets and I had them all killed and I enslaved them.
were able to quickly mimic everything we said to them. I ordered my men to treat them well.
I'm sorry, Mr. Columbus, but I heard at school that you spoiled paradise and you brought slavery and murder to peaceful people.
Leo?
True.
Sorry, it's what I read and heard at school.
Caramba! Those are some accusations. The
True
place I
ones.
discovered was beautiful.
You are a slaver. Nuh-uh.
But it wasn't exactly a paradise of civilization, and the native people were far from peaceful.
But you just said the Taino were peaceful.
They pretty much are. But there are other tribes who aren't. The Taino I had met had cuts and scars and bruises all over them. I asked why, and they told me about the Caribs, who are vicious, warring cannibals.
Cannibals?
And for that, they deserve to be enslaved.
Like they...
Eat people, see,
Whoa!
right? Hey, all the things that are bad in the world I come from, jealousy, lying.
So, let's see. Europeans. Let's see. European coffin eater. Eating. Hold on. I'm looking for something specific here. Did Europeans eat dead? Did European kings eat mummies? Eating mummies seemed a royalty appropriate medicine, as doctors claim mummia was made from pharaohs. It seems like you're real familiar. Seems like you're real familiar. Until 1909. They were doing this until like 120 years ago. You're real familiar with cannibalism.
Murder, war, it all exists in the land I just found too.
And that makes it right for me to enslave them.
In Europe, we draw the line at things like eating people and human sacrifice. Some of the native folks from where I just left do those things regularly. So, these people in your time who think it was a peaceful paradise are misinformed. Or lying.
Yeah, but what about slavery? You didn't deny that.
Deny? No. Slavery is as old as time and has taken place in every corner of the world.
Here's the thing. George Washington, slave owner. A lot of other people, slave owners. There was a good amount of people that I would consider a net good on the world who owned slaves. Christopher Columbus is not one of them. Why is this? He discovered America. Well, Christopher Columbus is a man who, as I said earlier, found an island, found people on the island, enslaved them, made them burn their houses down, and made them turn it into farmland. This is a man who would batter and abuse his slaves to a point where he was criticized at the time for how poorly he treated his slaves. That is how terrible this man was.
Even amongst the people I just left. Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? I don't...
Honestly, if I was taken as a slave, first opportunity I'm getting, I'm getting off that ship. I'm just drowning myself. I'd rather die.
see the problem.
Well, in our time, we view slavery as being evil.
Hold on, what?
Killed, no? I don't see the problem.
Yeah, I don't see the problem with slavery.
Well, in our time, we view...
Also, this is assuming that the only alternative to slavery is dying, which, me personally, I'm alive and not a slave. So, point debunked.
slavery as being evil and terrible.
Ah, magnifico! That's wonderful! I am glad humanity has reached such a time. But you said you're from 500 years in the future? How can you come here to the 15th century and judge me by your standards from the 21st century?
Moral relativism is cringe. Boo. Every single hero that we have in the world should be put under a critical scope and should be understood for both the bads and the goods that they have done. I'm sure Spartacus was a pretty bad dude. I'm sure the guys who I'm sure a lot of the Minutemen weren't the best people. I'm sure some Union soldiers weren't good people. Moral relativism is cringe. Everything should be looked up in a critical view.
For those in the future to look back and do this is, well...
Except for General Sherman, he was based as fuck, and he should have gone harder on the Southerners.
Estupido.
Are you calling me dumb?
Certainly not. I can tell you're a very smart young lady, but the idea of throwing away the past because of your present values is... Listen, I love
You're not throwing away the past, you're criticizing it. Very two different things.
and am thankful for the ancient Greeks, but they did lots of things that here in 1493 I do not agree with. They permitted lifestyles and worshiped God
Like slavery? Oh, no way. Hold on, did I just hear lifestyles? Hold the fuck on.
in 1493 I do not agree with. They permitted lifestyles and worshiped gods that, as a Christian, I think is very bad.
We got a bigger condemnation of homosexuality than we did of slavery.
But that doesn't mean I shouldn't respect and honor all the incredible and amazing things they did.
So, good and bad is based on the time you live in?
That
No.
is a great question. I told you I knew you were smart. Some things are clearly bad, no matter when they happen.
Like slavery.
But for
John Brown figured it out, you can too.
other things, before you judge, you must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal? Not everyone can time travel as you do and see how normal becomes very not normal.
Some things are, some things aren't. Sounds complicated.
It is, and so is life. And history can be too. If people in your time want to celebrate me for being a perfect hero, then they are very mistaken. Only my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is perfect, and I hope to spread his teaching to all the lands I find that don't know his name. But if people in your
How are you going to do that, Christopher?
time want to celebrate the guts I had to get this journey approved, start it, survive it, and get back to tell about it, well, that seems pretty good for any time and age.
I think you're right. Thanks for answering our questions, Mr. Columbus.
You're a courageous explorer, and you've given me a lot to think about. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, kids. Now, let me lock you up and show you to the King and Queen of Spain. Ah, just kidding. Safe travels, my friends.
Bye.
Columbus sure had a crazy life,
He made 3 more journeys across the ocean to the New World.
and it seems like most of the negative reports about him come from people who were his competition for things.
I don't think Christopher Columbus was a villain. And maybe he wasn't a hero, but he sure did some heroic things that are definitely worth celebrating.
And a lot of the things we judge him for now were just normal in his time. You never know, Leo. Maybe some of the things we're told are fine today will be considered evil or crazy in the future. But being courageous and wanting to explore the world are things worth admiring in any century.
1,000-yard stare. But yeah, this is what the wrong button. Hey. This is what they want shown to your kids. This is what they want your kids to think. People who, are planning on having children who live in the South, or the small bit of my audience that do have children. This is what they're showing to y'all. This is what they want y'all to learn. So be wary, approve of what your child is learning. Make sure that it is from a good source, because you can't trust Southern Republican schools. Just plain and simple, you can't trust them. They are indoctrinating your children.